All right, go for it.
Good morning, everyone. It's the one and only V, the Guerrilla Economist, coming to you live on this edition of Mornings with V and CJ. You can check us out, roguemoney.net, Rogue Money, Facebook, DTube, Steemit, every single podcasting app known to humanity. And you can find us on Apple News with the only alt media there. And we're spreading, and we got a lot of big things planned ahead for all of you that are listening in. Some amazing things are coming down the pike, so y'all better get ready. We're on the forefront. We are on the forefront with tip of the spear, baby. Tip of the spear. So subscribe, comment, and share. Hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button. Share it with your friends, your families. Show your support with us in this age of censorship and whatnot. And it is time that we all gather together, show our support for one another through this time. With that being said, check out our sponsors, RemainCalm.net, RemainCalm.net. Don't freak out. Remain calm, whether you need to get your credit score fixed or your credit score is fine. You just need some funds to either start your business, get your cryptos, do some investing, whatever the heck it is you want to do. It's your money and you want it now. Go to RemainCalm.net and they can get you up to 600,000. 600,000 unsecured. Secured, meaning you don't got to put up collateral for it. You don't got to put up your house. You ain't got to put up your car. You ain't got to put up your firstborn. Maybe you might want to put up your firstborn, but they won't take it anyway.
Perhaps.
We don't want to put up our firstborns. Anyway, check it out, RemainCalm.net, and also check out thecryptoschool.io. We're going to be doing a show at some point today with the guys, Crypto Z, Crypto Cowboy, as well as the man simply known as Frank. That's going to be fun. So keep it locked right here. It's going to be pretty awesome. Learn how to trade. Learn the ins and outs. Join the trading room. Look, man, here's the deal. There's a billion things going on in the crypto world right now. You're not going to know every single thing, every single detail. Ooh, they didn't know how to move from the LLC wallet to the LTC wallet. And what's... No. Learn how to trade. Okay? Learn how to trade. These guys are sick. They're sick with it when it comes to trading. They're freaking awesome. They really are. I've seen these guys do it live. And it's quite remarkable. Oh, I'm very impressed. Very impressed with these characters. So check it out. Thecryptoschool.io. Click Watch Us Trade. Join. Learn. Make some money. Especially now that Bitcoin's over 11,000, CJ. With that being said, CJ, what's cracking, brother?
Hey, good morning, V. Doing great. I'm excited that London Paul's back with us at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's been, a few weeks, and glad he's had that time to take care of his family. And so, I'm excited. I'm pumped up for the start of the week. It's going to be a big week at Rogue V.
Yeah, it's going to be a very big week. I'm pumped up as well. I think I'm going to sue somebody, Siege.
Okay.
Siege, I love watches, right?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Do you know somebody started a company called Gorilla Watch?
Oh, they did? Without your consent?
I'm very upset, CJ. I'm very upset.
That's definitely grounds for a lawsuit right there, V.
Seriously, even has the Screaming Gorilla logo. I'm very upset. Why does he have to have the Screaming Gorilla logo on top of it, CJ? Why does he have to take it that far? Maybe it's a homage. Maybe I'm being too hard on the guy. Maybe it's a homage.
Could potentially, yes. Yeah, definitely.
It's probably a homage to the Optimus Primate himself.
Either way, he needs to consult with you, though.
Yeah, he should have let me know, man. I mean, but honestly, if you guys want to check it out, I don't get a penny for saying it. It's some pretty cool, crazy watches. Go to Gorilla Watches. You just Google it. Go check it out. This guy used to work for Audemars Piguet, which is, if you know anything about watch collecting, it is the part of what is known as the Holy Trinity, which is Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, and Vacheron Constantin. I would actually throw JLC in there. Jaeger LeCoultre. And but anyway, check it out, Gorilla Watches. I don't get a penny. I just found this out this morning, CJ. I found this out this morning. So I just like it. I think it's some pretty freaking funky, cool watches. If you like it, go check it out. I'm always going to recommend watches, dark roast, and cars to you guys. I'm sorry. Okay, it's just going to happen because these are some of my passions. I love coffee, cars, and watches. Every man has a vice, CJ. Those are my vices. Okay, those are my vices. Could have been worse. I could have been recommending cocaine. There's a great form of
That's how I
Bolivian
get
coke.
going.
There's one called Colombian Bang Bang. It's really good. I mean, it could be worse, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I could have been a cokehead recommending coke. You could have been out there just recommending different strains of pot. We'd have a drug show every morning. whenever we're sober and clear-headed, we'll have a scheduled time at 9 a.m., but we don't show up live until 12.
Part of that's why, when we did Rogue 420 and we started thinking about video and interview, that's part of the reason why I wanted to do it, because just some of the channels out there that are doing, videos on cannabis and everything, they're just sitting there the entire show, just getting high, just getting high. And I don't, it's one person's individual liberties to do that, obviously, but I'm really looking at it in terms of the medical properties, its healing properties, and how many families could benefit from that. So that's what I get excited about, V.
That's what I get excited about as well. It's how many people can benefit, medically from this. I mean, you go to Bolivia, they're chewing coca leaves for altitude, acclimation. When you want to acclimate yourself to a higher altitude, chewing cocoa leaves helps with the, when you're going higher and higher in altitude, you have a little bit of vasoconstriction. Your body releases more, creates more erythropoietin, so, which is the process of creating more red blood cells, and cocoa leaves help with that. So yeah, there's some natural benefits when people screw around and start, messing with things and synthesizing things that, the bad stuff happens,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's get into it, bro. Let's start off with some deep state stuff, then we'll end with some trade stuff. So let's hit it. And we got London Poll coming up at 10 a.m., right?
10 a.m. Yeah, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So don't go too far.
Let's fly with this. Once you start it off, man, go ahead.
What did you want to start out with the deep state stuff with Russia and Germany? Jump into that real quick. Yeah, this came out last week, and I think we had it in the deck for one day, and it just kind of, it just kind of flew by. But then there's more news that's coming out. It's being picked up in a lot of different publications, and they're going to push this narrative for a couple different reasons. So what's coming out is they're alleging, and again, this is the dying legacy media is out there reporting that the Russian group hacked Germany's government network. Now, this article goes on, V, to specifically state that the Russian-backed hacker group, known for cyber attack, was able to infiltrate the Germany government's secure computer networks. And this is reported from the DPA news agency, reported Wednesday. They have unidentified security sources saying that the group APT28 hacked into Germany's
Apartment 28.
Apartment 28 hacked into Germany's foreign and defense ministries and managed to steal data. Now, this lasted over a year. Now, why this timing is very curious as to why in particular this is happening, because we know that Germany right now is really struggling to even have a government under the leadership of Merkel. We know specifically they were unhappy about sanctions that were going to be passed. And then obviously Germany, pivoting a little bit towards Russia. So this is a targeted co-op here in an attempt to keep Germany to encourage their citizenry not to align with Russia. And V, we know from last year's WikiLeaks drop that the CIA, the deep state, has the ability to place these hacking, to place these viruses and make it look like they came from foreign sources. So that's where we are. I'm sticking to that narrative. I don't buy this crap regarding, Russia hacking into Germany's government, infiltrate elections, all this crap. This is just the MSM aligned with the deep state to feed this propaganda and another attempt to divide Russia and keep them from building alliances with Germany, V.
That's exactly what it comes down to. Okay, and I'm glad you brought up this article because it actually ties in with the well, here's the deal. Okay, the idiots of the West. Yesterday, CJ, I tweeted out something. This was in response to the speech that Vladimir Putin gave. If anybody paid attention to the State of the Union speech that Vladimir Putin spoke, okay, where he was detailing some very advanced weaponry that is literally 2 generations ahead of anything we have. Okay, 2 generations ahead of anything we have. These are fieldable weapons. These are weapons that should be raising everybody's eyebrow. These are weapons where the military-industrial complex should actually, the military incompetence complex should literally, they probably crapped the bed when Putin announced it. Okay, we're talking about hypersonic Mach 20 missiles with unlimited range. I mean, this is stuff out of science fiction, bro. Mach 20. That's 20 times the speed of sound.
Whew.
Okay, like let me ask Google real quick, and I like doing this. Let me ask Google real quick, how fast is Mach 20 miles per hour? Hey, Google. Okay, Google. How fast is Mach 20?
20 speed of sound equals 15,345.383 miles per hour.
There you go.
Imagine being strapped to that.
15,000, basically 15,400 miles per hour. Let that sink in for a second. And it does high G turns. There's no defense against that. Plus, they have already fieldable laser weapons. So Putin said this in response to back in May of 2000. He gave his speech. This is when the U.S. decided to break from the anti-ballistic missile treaty, the ABM treaty, and they started to build "quote unquote" missile defense shields all across Eastern Europe, right against the borders of Russia. And Russia's like, well, "What are you guys doing?" "Oh, this is to prevent our European allies from being hit by Iranian missiles." And Russia's like, oh, you're trying to defend Europe from Iranian missiles. I tell you what, why don't you just take some of your anti-ballistic missile shields, because it is about neutralizing Iran. We share a border with Iran. Why don't you put it next to us? You put it in our borders, and you can man it, and we'll let you guys have space, and you can protect us from Iran as well. No. The U.S. says, no, we're not interested. This is not against Russia. This is simply against Iran. The Russians knew the BS game. They knew the BS game. See, the Americans, the stupid, sneaky scumbags who run our country, couldn't officially break from the ABM without creating an international crisis, without being portrayed as warmongers. So they use the pretext because they think the rest of the world is stupid. They think you're a low IQ moron. And they said, hey, you know what? This is not for Russia. This is not for Russia at all. This is to prevent Islamic terrorists in Iran from launching an ICBM against our partners in Europe. That's what it's for. Russians aren't dumb. So Russians, and back in 2000, Putin said this move is very aggressive. It makes no sense. It breaks the treaty, and it reduces, and it actually decimates the balance of power in the world that has kept peace. This ABM treaty, which was signed in the 80s, I believe it was, which was signed decades ago to keep the peace in the world between two superpowers that had the power to destroy the world 10 times over. They have the power to eliminate all life on Earth 10 times over. The asshole neocons, which you folks, when it goes down, I don't know how it's going to play out, but I recommend lining up the neocons first, even before the pedophiles. I'll line up the neocons first, because the amount of loss of life that they have caused is in the tens of millions, and I'd shoot them first, every single one of them. I recommend a shot to the gut so they bleed out painfully and die. But let me tell you why I'm so angry. Let me explain to you why. Putin's speech is a response, a last and final warning to a NATO, to a bunch of Western idiots who have hyped up Russian hacking, Russia. No evidence. No proof. Folks, this ain't Iraq. This is not Libya. This is not Syria. This is not some country where you can say, like they're making weapons of mass destruction, we should go invade. This is mother freaking Russia. If you don't know about mother freaking Russia, you need to ask Napoleon. You need to ask Hitler how that worked out. Germany, the most powerful superpower in the world, with at that time weapon systems that were far and away advanced, a generation or two ahead of what America even has, that have better trained, better fielded soldiers, decided to go fight a two-pronged war against the Ruskies. Didn't work out too well. Let me tell you guys something. This whole Russia hacked, first of all, Apartment 28, APT 28, there is none, zero, zilch connection between APT 28 and any official Russian military or intelligence source. APT 28 is made up of a hodgepodge of hackers of Eastern European and Asian origin. They're just a hacking group. Kind of like the lizards from a couple of years ago, if you guys remember that. And other various hacking groups that have existed, even anonymous included. To take APT 28 and say it's Russian. And when I start reading articles, and the preface of the article, they preface the article by saying, oh, the despot in Russia, Vladimir Putin, threatened new types of nuclear weapons upon the West. You're calling a democratically elected leader of one of the most powerful military powers on the planet a despot. A man who has damn near 90% approval rating. In all seriousness, you have had real third-party election surveying groups and organizations that have looked at the Russian election. Let me tell you something. The Russian election is more honest than the shenanigans we have here. The Russian election is more straightforward, legitimate, and honest than what we have here. Why do they love Putin? Because Putin loves Russia. Putin loves family. Putin loves the church. Putin is pro-Russia, and that's why the Russians love him. Putin's a statesman. He's an adult, and he has to deal with a bunch of punk kids that are in the Western world. The level of patience this man has is beyond me, CJ. It's beyond me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I know Paul's going to jump into the speech as well and talk specifically a lot. So absolutely, very much looking forward to that. He a couple great articles up at the Sirius Report. So a lot more forthcoming.
Which brings us to the trade stuff, Siege.
Yeah, man. You want to break that down guerrilla style?
Let's do this. President Trump is showing absolutely zero signs of backing away from his trade tariffs plan and just tweeted, we are on the losing side of almost every trade deal. Our friends and enemies have taken advantage of the U.S. for many years. Our steel and aluminum industries are dead. Which, as the chart below shows, is true. Trump has a warning. Sorry, it's time for change. Make America great again. We are on the... Okay, so that's what he tweeted out. While the establishment globalist doth protest loudly of the steel and aluminum impositions that President Trump is proclaiming, it appears that memories of recent historic reality is gravely absent or willfully being ignored. On Friday, Peter Navarro, Trump's newly reincarnated foreign trade advisor, made it clear that it is not a first strike in the trade war. This is America's retaliation for years of abuse. Okay. One look at the U.S. record trade deficit. We all know this. The trade deficit is atrocious with both the entire world, most specifically China alone, and Europe alone, and one could make the case he is correct. The U.S. administration appears to be taking an increasingly aggressive stance on trade following the chart. Okay. As we noted previously, this is from our guys over at Zero Hedge, and actually the source is actually PNB Paribas as well. Trump's strategy, at least one hedge fund believes that Trump is correct in his trade war stance. Here's Stephen Jen from SLJ Macro Partners. The U.S. is the least protectionist large economy in the world, while China is the most protectionist. Folks, I said it before many times, right? the economies that grow the most are the most protectionist. India's growth, China's growth, a few of the other economies' growth, they're the most protectionist economies. That's why they grow the most. Okay, so we have this trade war that's brewing. Okay, trade wars always lead to something worse. Never any good. But I get how Trump is trying to get the people back in the negotiating table, and rightfully so. And the thing with this trade agreement is this: we need to develop a better protectionist trade model. And with that regard, I agree with the president in that sense. But what I don't actually, yeah, I kind of get it. I kind of get how he wants to be vitriolic and he has the aggressive first stance. He's rattling cages here, right? He's rattling cages. He's trying to make these people, catch them while they're on their heels. Okay, while they're on their heels. But my point is this: we don't have a physical economy built up yet. We don't have anything built up yet. We don't have anything humming yet. See, let me ask you a question: Has any factory grounds anywhere in this country been broken? Has a single shovel been put into the soil in any parcel of land in the United States for a new factory, any kind, anywhere in this country?
There's been a lot of merger and acquisitions. I've not seen a whole lot as far as breaking ground and new major industries at this
Toyota,
point.
Anything from Toyota, anything from Mazda, anything from Volkswagen, anything from I don't know, Apple, IBM, anything big from any major corporations. I haven't seen anything.
No, not that I'm aware of in the Midwest. Of course, I'm next to Illinois, so we have a lot of companies that are closing their doors there and moving east. So
yeah. Same here. It's like I don't see anything. Where is American steel industry right now? It's non-existent. It doesn't exist. It's non-existent. Okay, so you want to induce tariffs now? That's saying it's like it's like, all right, China, we're gonna hit you with a 10% tariff on steel, and then so the world buys our steel. And China's like, okay, you're gonna hit me with a 10% tariff on steel, but you don't make any steel. Do you see what I'm saying? This is a toothless effort. I get it if you have an industry that's built up. What I'm trying to say is this: this is wasteful energy. This is just waste. Why don't you get an infrastructure project going? That will cause American steel developers to ramp up production and sell within the country. Then once their production capabilities and when they're scaled up and ratcheted up and they're humming and booming, then you could start an export thing. Then you could start a trade negotiation. But you don't even have how do you do this, Siege?
Gosh,
seriously, dude, what kind of deal making is this? Like, it's like me walking into a dealership of a car without even telling them who I am, without even running my credit score. I point at the latest Porsche 911 Targa and I say, I want that for $80,000. But sir, that's a $150,000 car. I don't care. Give it to me. But who are you? What are you bringing to the table? I mean, this is weird, bro. What do you think?
I listened to a really good podcast from Peter Schiff, and outside of his cryptocurrency thoughts, which completely don't align with mine, we know that, right? But he gave a very good podcast on trade and really enlightened my thoughts as well. What do you say? And I was real tempted to reach out to him and say, hey, can you do an interview to talk about it? Because the hard part is this, V, is that most of these trades and these tariffs will unfortunately come back as some form of raised taxes, some type of raised cost to us, or inflation. American industry isn't poised, and ready to begin cranking out the amount of steel, aluminum that's necessary to do this. In other words, those manufacturers count on some of that reduced cost to drive the U.S. economy, because we want lower prices. So therefore, all it's going to typically do is just, for the most part, either push more industry out of the United States for them to go buy the cheap there. Do you really think that these companies, that if they're able to do you really think they're going to just not pass along that additional cost to the consumer? So you're talking about everything from refrigerators, microwaves, all those items that we've gotten accustomed to for lower prices. Cars. Do you think that they're just not going to pass along that 15 or 18% tariff to the consumer?
Of course they will.
Absolutely they will. So that's what makes it very difficult. Now, Peter Schiff also had another thought too, that this is really potentially going to push the collapse of the U.S. dollar as well. Because go ahead.
No, correct. I was about to get to that.
Yeah, go for it.
This makes no sense unless, of course, you're trying to push the dollar off the cliff as quickly as possible. That's the only outcome of this whole entire thing. First of all, you're pissing off the entire world. Okay, you're threatening. You're out there in the Middle East. You want to create some sort of a joint venture with the pansy French and the nutless Germans to go into Syria because you bitches can't do it yourselves. Then on top of that, you're out there threatening everywhere you want to go. You're talking about, again, the rhetoric of hitting North Korea. This stops when Xi Jinping wakes up and Putin wakes up and they decide, hey, you know what? They have their morning tea, they have their breakfast, and Xi just gives Putin a call and says, hey, Vlad. Vlad's like, hey, what's up, Z? Let's hit the the dollar button today. Yeah, it sounds like a good day. Good day, better than any. And it's over. It's over. They hit the the dollar button. They hit the we're not supplying petroleum through our Middle Eastern partner buttons. And if you don't think that's not true, you got another thing coming to you. U.S. has lost significantly in the Middle East, especially with OPEC countries. Then on top of that, China could say, yeah, you know what, we're not going to export any more rare earth or strategic minerals and metals. And all of a sudden you see the mighty U.S. war machine, because after all, we're not an empire. Even though we have 934 military bases in 149 countries, we're not an empire. I've never seen a more evil empire than us in the last several decades. Oh, but we don't care. Really? You want to look at the body count of what happens when the deep state is running rampant? You want to have a body count of what happens when you have unchecked government? But they hate us for their freedoms. No, they hate you because of your murderous foreign policy. Murderous. And this happens because we as a nation lost our maverick spirit. We're no longer innovators. We need to win the world through business and trade. Not at the barrel of the gun, folks. Never works out that way. So now we're on the track of collapse, just like every other corrupt empire before us. We're on the track for collapse. Siege, go ahead, bro.
Right. Yeah, no, and again, these are these deep state operatives, again, that have really pushed so much industry outside of the United States. They have wanted to basically, create and make the United States a third world, country. And effectively, we've been privileged for so long, with the dollar, that we really haven't been impacted like a lot of other countries have. So that day of reckoning is speeding up. That process is getting quicker. So again, now is the time for you, for your families to be, looking for solutions. I mean, trust me, folks, I hate getting on this mic and being, doom and gloom about things, but would you rather us just try to put mascara over it and not talk about, what's ahead of us? I mean, now's the time to, to really look at your families and stop paying attention to so much of all this. Hey, this is what Q's doing. This is what's going on, because there's a massive movement that's happening right now with the Democratic base, and they are getting fired up. If you do not think that they're not going to show up at the 28 midterms, their day is coming, because they're more energized. They're fired up. They are ready to go because of the media lashing out at Trump, because the amount of disinformation coming about this administration. And so it's coming. So get ready.
That 2018 midterm is only months away. It's only months away. It's literally right around the corner. Okay. Now, supposedly, how many seats have already flipped? Like 39 seats have flipped to the Dems already?
Well, the small margin, I don't have the exact figures, but a small margin as far as the actual Senate goes. But they're sounding the alarm bells right now in Texas. Let me kill this noise feed that's going to come up real quick before it starts, and they can't hear on one of the streams. Sometimes it doesn't cut the sound. There we go. So right now in early voting in Texas, and they're sounding the alarm bells. Okay, so of all red states, okay, Texas, think of Texas, okay? In early voting in the Texas primary shows Democrats outpacing Republicans as the March deadline approaches, and the GOP is spooked. Numbers for this week of early voting should shock every conservative to their core, Governor Greg Abbott told reporters in a fundraising email on Monday. If these trends continue, we could be in real trouble come Election Day. Through Monday, and this is early voting in ballots, 204,690 voted ballots for Democrats in the primary in person by mail in these states, the 10 largest counties, while just 169,740 voters had cast ballots in the Republican primary from the Texas Secretary of State. And also Senator Ted Cruz is also sounding the alarm bell as well. Let me tell you right now, the left is going to show up. Cruz said in a February 9th dinner at Fort Bend, they will, quote unquote, crawl over broken glass in November to vote. That's the alarm bell. So we cannot be complicit. We cannot be complicit with this administration, with Trump, and we had a lot of confidence. We showed full support. However, we cannot rest on our laurels. We've got to understand what's coming in, and it's not because it's so much of what the media, the NFL, the amount of divide and conquer that is ruled, and they're pissed as hell. So we got to watch out, and if they get a Democratic House and Senate, it's going to be really tough going forward. And right now, there's a lot of people sounding the alarm bell. So I'm not sure about what state our listeners in, but I would definitely start paying attention what's happening in these midterms.
Yeah, 1,000%, man, 1,000%. Because here's the deal: everything that needs to happen or what's going to happen is predicated on the 2018 midterms. You got a whole bunch of Dems and libtards getting in. It's over, folks. It's over. Okay, so what's the latest Q Anon drop today, CJ? You know what the latest one is?
Well, I tried to listen to it. Yesterday, Joan Corsi was he was able to live stream again and coming in, and trust me, I support the work and I understand what the movement's about, and I'm glad it's united a lot of people. And I watched some of these live stream, and they're getting 3,000-4,000 people come in masses, and and I followed on social media as well, and everyone is just stuck, is so fixated on this right now. And that's what I mean by, just resting on our laurels, just waiting for the arrest to happen, waiting for Hillary to be locked up and Obama, because a lot of signs aren't pointing to anything right now. But at the same time, it's created such a distraction. We're not mobilized at all. So,
no, everybody's waiting on a freaking breadcrumb from Q that nobody's doing nothing.
So in the meantime, while this information has came out, so the information recently, yes, that question was staying united, fighting the battle against the media, against, the censorship that's going out. And I fully agree with that. So I cannot deny that. But however, what I am stating is that if you look at some of these early elections, and Texas should be alarm bell to everyone, right? So when you think of Texas, you think of, gun carrying patriots, right? Unfortunately, the last several years, Texas has had a huge inflow of Californians who have escaped out of there and are changing public policy in Texas. So just watch out, get involved with your local elections, find out who's running for Congress, senator, because it's going to be a very interesting 2018 midterm. V.
It is. It really is, and that's the look, folks. You got some time. If the libtard Dems get in, there's probably going to be gridlock, and you probably have what, 2 more years. So now you got right now 2.5 years to make as much money as possible, mass wealth, to do what you need to do to get yourself positioned. Because I don't know, if the Dems win, I don't know about a second Trump term. But don't worry, QAnon is going to drop a breadcrumb on us real soon. Okay, QAnon. This is the problem. See, people, rather than being active, people are looking at this QAnon thing and thinking that somebody else is handling it for them on the back end.
Bingo.
That's the problem. Okay, so we stop speaking truth. We stop hammering truth. Guys, we won this because we were vocal, because the truth is being disseminated throughout the internet. And that's why they're trying to control the internet. They're trying to shut down free speech. They're trying to censor us. Okay, they're trying to do all these things. This is why it's like, I'm telling you right now, if you value, I mean, there's many of you, dude, I got so many listeners that would pay $150 a month for a stupid cable bill to watch 100 or 200 channels with nothing on. And I'm telling you, the time is coming where if you want to listen to your content, you're going to have to wind up paying for it. You're going to have to support the content creators. Everybody's going. Look, I mean, today I heard, one of the YouTube channels that I watch it with my kid because I think it's great, it's hilarious. I love the guy. He's an awesome dude. He does food reviews called Dame Drops. He does food reviews, and he's been on Rachel Ray. I mean, this is a guy who just started off just eating food and doing reviews on it, and his channel's blown up. He's got almost 1 million, almost 800,000 subs. I mean, this guy is like a YouTube maven. It's funny. It's great. It's entertaining. Now it's just YouTube is shutting him down because they're the SJW bitches that run YouTube, because they're a bunch of bitches. I just by saying that, I think we just got demonetized. Siege.
Sometimes they flag it when you just type the title in. That's why. Yeah. Go ahead.
They're shutting Dame Drops down. They're shutting him down. They're shutting down Dame because of unsafe eating or reckless eating is what they're calling it.
Reckless eating.
Reckless eating. But aren't you fat shaming? Aren't you body shaming? Like, a family member of mine said this. It's a great point. And this is the problem with the insatiable liberals. They're freaking insatiable. Ban everything until everyone is equally miserable. It's pathetic, man. It's absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, it truly is. I mean, and you're exactly right. You nailed it. I think when you connect the dots between the media, the censorship, the 2018 midterms, who knows what the left are going to run in 2020, right? I mean, if it's Joe Biden, they're going to need to make sure to shut every social media platform, every news counter narrative news outlet down with that guy. He's so corrupt. So that's what they're leading. That's what they're going for. They're setting everything up for the upcoming elections because they're gonna damn well not gonna let it happen when we control the narrative, and we have to counter that. That's what we're up against.
That's it. People think, we're just out here talking. No. We're forming narratives here, folks. We're forming narratives here. Some of our vids have 24, 30,000 views. We have over 4 million views on the channel. We're helping to form the narrative. Because that's what this war is about, forming narratives. Because that's the only thing that the establishment cares about. The establishment cares about the most is how they control the narrative. And we've thrown a monkey wrench into that, and we got to keep that fight going. So get ready.
Absolutely.
If you want to be active, you got to get active now. Go ahead, Teacher. We'll close out.
No, 10 a.m. Don't go too far. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. London Paul, the Sears Report. It's going to be great to have him back. So don't go too far. Crypto Z, Frank, with Rogue Coin coming up. So that'll be later on today. What time are you shooting for that, B?
Looking at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, somewhere in there. So don't change that dial. Stay tuned right here at Rogue.
Absolutely. And with that being said, folks, we are over and out. Take it away, CJ.